Wednesdays, and that is Clarion Connection with Ron Wilshire. Ron, how we doing?
Doing great. We have a different kind of program. That your song selection was probably pretty appropriate. We're talking with Jody Shawley, a parent at Keystone School District. Last Wednesday, she learned children weren't allowed to pass out flyers for their vacation Bible school. A church in the Knox area offers Vacation Bible School every year. And for a number of years, the students have been allowed to just pass out simple postcard invitations to Vacation Bible School. But she was informed by the superintendent that they couldn't do it this year. An interpretation of the policy said that the best they could do was to announce it over the PA speaker, and if students were interested, they'd have to stop by the main office to obtain the postcard for Vacation Bible School. As I said, it's been going on for a number of years. Were you surprised to hear this last Wednesday?
Yes, I was very surprised because we have been able to do this. The students in our church let me know that they want to do this. I write a letter on their behalf, give a copy of the invitation to the school because it does have to be approved one day in advance. In this case, we gave them a week's notice. But for the past 4 years, we have been able to do this. The policy had been changed in 2007 to address this because we did have an issue with this in 2007.
Now, in the past, there hasn't been any problem with this then?
No. I send a letter with the name of the students. I cite the policy and indicate that students want to pass the invitations out before the start of classes. I include the invitation, and then I get a call a few days later or a day later or that day from the school indicating that, yes, it's approved.
I understand at the school board meeting this Monday night that you went to that someone did cite a certain policy?
Yes, they were, I had gone to the school board meeting and brought them up to speed with what I had done, and my husband and I believe that this is a violation of student expression policy number 220, and I cited the policy on distribution. It says students may hand non-school materials to others on school property before the school day begins and after the school day ends. Now, the other part of the policy, there's a 6-page student expression policy, the one that was amended in August of 2007, and I did hear one school board member reading, student-initiated religious expression is permissible and shall not be prohibited except as to time, place, and manner of distribution. So there was some small talk there, and I believe the school board took that to mean that Mr. Bonner could say that the students could not distribute the Bible school flyers in their classrooms before the start of the school day. And then there was no motion made, or it wasn't tabled. It just died for a lack of anything.
Now, you have a couple kids attending Keystone. What kind of things do they receive in terms of handouts?
Well, I have an 8th grader who doesn't bring home a whole lot. I believe it stays in her locker. In fact, she has several lockers at school, I hear. But the younger one brings home different things that are distributed in the classroom. They're all good things, maybe not everything we're interested in, but there's things from the university, Clarion University football. There is a karate thing from the YMCA. Soccer thing from the YMCA, also library, Knox Public Library reading program. Like I said, these are good things, but these are not in the office for the kids to pick up. They're just distributed in the classroom, and those are not school materials.
So do you think they weren't allowing the distribution of this because it's a church-related thing?
I think that is a strong possibility, and I'm sorry to say that, but the kids have a right to free speech.
They're not coming on real strong with other kids or anything like that. It's just a simple postcard.
It's a simple postcard that says, when we have our Bible school, the time, call the church for more information or go to the church's website. So, and if you don't want it, throw it away. I've not heard any bad things in the past about, someone getting upset because they received a Bible school invitation.
Under the original policy or operating procedures, any faith send an invitation, whether it be Muslim or Buddhist or anything, that it should be open as long as it's not a strong arm tactic.
Right. The policy protects. There's unprotected student expression and protected student expression. So yes, I believe that would apply to any faith. And
what's unprotected? She has all these papers here, folks. It's only radio, but you'd be amazed.
Unprotected would be if there's libeling any specific person or persons, advocating possibly the use of drugs, something that's dangerous to the health or welfare of students, obscene, lewd, vulgar, profane language, something that incites violence, anything that would materially or substantially interfere with the educational process, something that would violate school district administrative regulations or procedures. So, there's protected and unprotected.
And Vacation Bible School usually doesn't cover any of that stuff.
No, not to my knowledge. We have fun, but not that much.
Do you want to explain what Bible school is, in case anybody listening isn't really familiar with it?
Sure. We have it every year at our church. It's a week-long event. This year, we are having it in the evening, and this is the Knox United Methodist Church. We're having it in the evening from 6 to 8:30. Each day we focus on a different story from the Bible. This year's theme is Be Strong and Courageous, and it's a circus theme. So like Monday we're having The Lion Tamer. We're talking about Daniel and the Lion's Den. Tuesday is Esther, the Beauty Queen. Wednesday, David and Goliath, the Strong Man. Thursday is Zacchaeus, and we're having a business manager. And Friday is Follow Me, Jesus calling his disciples. And the kids play games. They hear the Bible stories. We do a lot of acting at our church. We have skits, and that makes it real fun, and we involve the kids. They have a snack that usually corresponds with the day's lesson. What am I missing here? We're hoping to incorporate some face painting this year in it. They have a wonderful time. And then we have a wonderful closing program. Oh, music. They learn a lot of great songs, and we have a wonderful music leader that gets them pumping.
The Bible school, it attracts more people, more children than are actually enrolled in your church.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not sure of the exact numbers of our church students, but I would say Bible school brings in another 50%. We usually have up to 100 kids that come to this.
I know there's a subliminal Christian message to it, but it's mostly to have fun and to point them in a right direction.
Yes. We, though, in the past couple years have had a few children who have wanted to come and know the Lord because of the stories and things they experienced in Bible school. So, we do this for God's glory and hope that the kids will come to Him.
But you have to admit, I've known of some parents that just send them to, it's a good babysitting, it's a good positive experience.
Well, I suppose that does happen. Yeah,
not that there's anything wrong with
No,
that.
there's nothing wrong with that. I suppose that does happen, but you see a lot of the families come to our closing program, and they really, we have a full house for our closing program, and they really enjoy seeing their kids singing and dancing up there. Yeah, so that could be what it is for some folks, but that's okay. We're glad to have them.
Right. What do the kids say about the Bible school after they go to it?
Well, they love it. They get really excited, and we usually have a mission project each year, and then the students are divided up according to their grades, and they try to outdo each other by bringing in monetary donations and coins, because we try to rattle the can, whoever can rattle it the loudest, and each day there's a winner as to who brought in the most funds for the mission.
But there isn't a charge for the Bible school?
No charge whatsoever.
Does Keystone have any, church or Bible clubs in its school? This is totally off
Yes, they
campus.
do. When my older daughter was younger, and I believe it still exists, it's called the Good News Club. It's held in the elementary school, and she attended that. It's after school.
It's after school,
After school.
but it's on school grounds.
Yes, it is. And that I'm not sure the date, but I'm thinking 1972. But the Supreme Court had ruled in a case that was permissible in in the schools. And I do know for a fact that Red Bank has the largest Good News Club in the United States.
And what do they do at the Good News Club?
They learn Bible stories, just, similar to Bible school, only on a shorter version because they're not there.
So the school allows to have the Good News Club, but they wouldn't allow any postcards announcing it?
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know how you mean.
Well, if they don't allow postcards for Vacation Bible School.
Well, then I suppose they wouldn't allow. Although we do usually get a flyer home from the Good News Club. Come to think of it.
Okay. Yeah. But the school doesn't have any real control over that, right?
No.
I guess the second policy you stated was kind of vague. It would give them power to decline anything, but it's kind of a all option policy.
Right.
So what's your next step here? You've gone to the school board. School's going to dismiss pretty soon anyway.
Well, we've already taken the next step. Our family, we've contacted the Alliance Defense Fund. This is a faith-based organization. One of the original founders was Dr. James Dobson. It was founded in 1994, and they fight for religious freedoms in the workplace, in the school. To give you a bit of history, we had assistance from them in 2007 when our older daughter, Emily, had passed out Bible school invitations in her classroom before school. And her teacher made her collect them, and they came home in her backpack, and I had no idea why these were there, no call, anything. And she said I wasn't allowed to hand them out. So we had several conversations with the principal and the superintendent at that time, which is a different person than the superintendent now. And the Alliance Defense Fund, we contacted them. They drafted a letter on our behalf, which we sent to the school, and that prompted the policy to be clarified. So we have already contacted them, and they realized that school is out May 30th, and I look for some type of action to transpire here so that the kids can pass out their invitations. That's what my prayer is.
Oh, you're expecting something before the end of school then?
Yes, they move that quickly.
Okay. How do they move? Do they call the school, or do they send a legal notice to them?
I don't know. Waiting to hear back from them today. They took my information yesterday. An intake person took the information and indicated that he would be talking to the attorneys. He realized that time was of the essence. So they do that through letters, phone calls, litigation if necessary. I don't know what they'll do in this case. Probably a phone call or a letter.
So you contacted them after the school board meeting, basically?
Yes,
okay.
I did.
So you're still hopeful that something can be changed this year?
I'm hoping and praying that something can be changed.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit more about this after commercial break. You're listening to Clarion Connection. I'm Ron Wilshire with Jody Shawley from Keystone.
Baby gorilla at the Pittsburgh Zoo and PPG Aquarium is melting hearts. You can watch him play within a few feet of his mom in their yard. If you visit, prepare for your heart to melt again when you meet the little orphan sea otter in his nursery. He's always busy rolling in the water, playing with toys, and drinking his bottle. But you'll be on cute overload when you visit the sea lions in Kids Kingdom. Their playful antics are a delight to everyone. Cuteness is the theme this year at the Pittsburgh Zoo and PPG Aquarium.
Harmony. It's when good things come together perfectly. Like an alto and tenor, a crying baby, and noise-canceling headphones. Or the harmonized flavors of McDonald's new Blueberry Banana Nut Oatmeal with fresh seasonal blueberries on top of 2 servings of whole grain oats, delicious notes of banana and crunchy walnuts. With 290 calories of perfect harmony, it's another wholesome breakfast choice from McDonald's. At participating McDonald's.
Every morning to prove how smart he is, Dan does the crossword puzzle.
13-letter word for 500th anniversary. Quincentenary. Nailed it.
This morning, however, his wife Katie tops him. She brings an awesome meal she got off McDonald's dollar menu at breakfast. A sausage burrito made with savory sausage, melty cheese, and fluffy eggs, premium roast coffee, and more. Everything's so good and just $1 each. Who's smart now?
4-letter word for genius.
Wife. Nailed it.
McDonald's dollar menu at breakfast. The simple joy of being smart. Price and participation may vary.
The 7th annual Daniel E. Stitt IV Memorial Scholarship Motorcycle Ride and Poker Runs coming up Saturday, June 23rd at the Antler Club in Lucinda. The ride starts at noon, rain or shine, with registration at 9:30, dinner at 5. For more information, visit dannysgifts.org or call 744-5434. A big thanks going out to Fred L. Burns, Cribble Companies, Kale's Kitchens, Mark's Auto Repair, the Triple R Roadhouse, and DMS Printing and Mailing. Saturday, June 23rd at the Antler Club in Lucinda. Watch for signs and balloons.
Welcome back to Clarion Connection. I'm Ron Wilshire, and I'm talking today with Jody Shawley, a parent from the Keystone School District, about Keystone's administration's decision not to allow students to pass out postcard invitations to Vacation Bible School this year. Jody, I this is just a guess, but do you think some of the reason is if they're tightening this up is that they're afraid of getting sued?
I would probably think that would be a thought in the back of their minds, possibly, although they've in the past had consulted with legal counsel regarding this, and I would think that they should defer to legal counsel this time as well.
So they didn't have a solicitor or anything at the meeting?
No, they did not.
Okay.
No, to my knowledge, this was just the superintendent's interpretation of the policy. I do not believe he consulted with the solicitor.
So this is really a case where they could get sued either way.
I would say so.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned before talking with the previous superintendent about the policy. Do you have any documentation of that?
Yes, I do. I have a letter from Dr. Gould, August 21st, 2007, that I can read if you like.
Sure.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Shawley, thank you for your patience. I have spoken to our attorney, and he has advised us that your daughter would be permitted to distribute materials as long as the policy and the administrative guidelines are followed. The policy simply requires that the student provide the principal, Mrs. Corsetti, with a copy of the materials the day before they are to be distributed. The administrative regulations, as far as they relate to your request, permits distribution before and after school. I have included, as you requested, a copy of policy number 220, and I would be happy to answer any further questions or concerns you may have. My best to your daughter Emily, and I wish her success in the upcoming school year. Sincerely, Dr. Jean Atkin Gould, Superintendent.
Well, that would seem to cover it.
I would believe that would cover it. And at the meeting, I asked what had changed over the past 4 years. The policy has not changed, and the answer from the superintendent was that his interpretation of the policy had changed.
Oh, so his interpretation of
his interpretation. Those are his words.
Okay, so it wasn't a solicitor's interpretation, right?
No, it was not.
So a little bit of mystery connected with this. Now, in the past, I believe Keystone's been sued by the ACLU, and there was a recent incident where there was a speaker at Keystone, and the speaker had promised not to go into certain things. I think creationism or some other issues, and then the speaker started to do that, and then which they had arranged that he wouldn't be doing, and then all of a sudden the fire alarm was pulled and the auditorium was emptied.
That's what I heard from my older daughter, yes, the 8th grader.
So if your daughter goes in and hands out these invitations one day, we're not going to hear a bunch of fire alarms, are we?
I would hope not.
Oh, okay. But I mean, it's probably tough, managing a school district with various interpretations of regulations and that. But it's also kind of strange if they allow a good news club to be meeting at school, which is probably much more, use the word hardcore, than Vacation Bible School.
Right, because they're actually learning about Jesus and God in the Good News Club. Now, yes, it's after school hours. And like I said, this is simply an invitation to come to our Bible school.
And the whole incident was brought to our attention rather late in the week, but we would welcome the Keystone administrators on a future show if they would like to appear. So we'll send that invitation out to them now. So what's next for you? You're just kind of waiting to hear from the what was that group?
The Alliance Defense Fund, kind of waiting and praying as are all our church members.
During the break that Steve mentioned that the director or the founder of this foundation also has a radio program. It plays every day on WWCH.
Right, that's Focus on the Family. That's a wonderful program. Now, Dr. Dobson has retired, but it's still an awesome program. And this Alliance Defense Fund, if I may, was began in 1994. More than 35 leaders of ministries came together, and one of those was Dr. Dobson, the late Dr. Bill Bright, the late Larry Burkett, the late Dr. D. James Kennedy, and the late Martin Madhu came together and launched the ADF in 1994 to aggressively defend religious liberty by empowering allies and recognizing that they can accomplish far more together than they can alone. So they have had a great history of success, precedent-setting cases over the past 17 years. And by God's grace, the Alliance Defense Fund has been successful in more than 3 out of every 4 of the cases litigated to conclusion. So I don't doubt that God can work through them in this case either.
Okay. Well, so I sound like I'm speechless, but I'm not. No, I was just thinking. It's an interesting thing in society where people want to maintain their right for free speech and not infringe upon others, but this doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, it seems to be the case here where you're just asking for the ability to communicate or your kids to pass this on to people and not infringe upon anybody else.
That's exactly right. I don't know what else to say about that. That it's just a simple thing. It's a simple invitation, and I don't know if the district thought that saying no would be the end of it, but sometimes we need to stand up for our rights and for the rights of our children. You know, a lot of people have encouraged me in this. They said, we couldn't do this, but we're glad that you're doing it. And even people come up to me at the school board meeting and said, we agree with you. But, nobody wants to. It's hard to take that stand. It's been hard for me, but I have a lot of faith, and I know a lot of people praying for me. So I know that God can work through me to do this.
What has been the reactions after people learned you're going to be on the radio today?
Go get them, Jody. We're praying for you. A lot of scriptures relating to being strong and courageous. And if, God is for us, who can be against us? Just, there's a lot of encouragement.
Boy, this is starting to sound like their Sunday night Christian music program. But which brings to light that there is a lot of Christian programming already on the radio station and throughout the area. Do you think that anybody of a different faith or not non-Christian feels intimidated at school?
I'm not sure I can answer that since I'm not in the school, but I don't think so. They try to accommodate everybody.
I mean, really, if you're following Christ-like principles or Christian principles, you're not supposed to be intimidating other people or making them feel uncomfortable. But actions are supposed to speak louder than words.
Right. And I don't think my 4th grader is taking her invitation and, smacking somebody with it and saying, you have to come to Bible school. They're
just little cards. She'd have to really take this. I don't know what size this is, but
Postcard size, pretty
postcard
much.
size, and it says, "You come one, come all. You are invited. Vacation Bible School, June 11th to 15th, from 6 to 8:30 p.m. Be strong and courageous." Registration forms on our website, or call the church office 797-5386, and the website is knoxunitedmethodist.org, and the church is at 628 West Railroad Street in Knox. And then there's a picture of a clown juggling things. I mean, that's, if clowns are religious symbols, they'll be closing down a lot of things.
Exactly.
But the Bible school, though, is, the basics behind it. But it's mainly for fun and a chance for students to still socialize and spend some time with their friends during vacation.
Absolutely. They just, like I said, they have a great time and come back every year. Once they're out of 6th grade into 7th grade, then they can become helpers. And we get a lot of kids that still want to help after they've graduated from the program. So it's a wonderful time.
Oh, what do the helpers do?
Help? No, they assist.
Well, that's pretty vague. What do you really mean?
They assist the adults with the children. Some help with the games. We have a couple students who are going to be actors this year. They help with anything that the adults are helping with. They have some student helpers also.
Well, that's good. And it allows them to have some responsibility and growth that way, too.
Yes, absolutely.
So, we have about a minute left here in the Clarion Connection. Any final words for the listening audience?
Well, I would extend that invitation again for any kids that want to come. And last night at our Bible school meeting, I did not know, we talked about this. We did not know that God was going to ask us to be strong and courageous before the Bible school, but he has asked us to do that. So I thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate the opportunity very much.
Well, thanks for joining us. I think it's an interesting topic, and if you have questions, call Jody or call the school. And we invite the Keystone School District, if they would like to appear on next week's episode, or in the future, just let us know. We'll be happy to accommodate them. You're listening to Clarion Connection. I'm Ron Wilshire.